Aaron Morrison. And this man, right? I always think when I hear people's stories like this that he got out, he lived the dream.
Yeah.
The dream came true. It was amazing. And then you hear that you have lived the dream, but you want the original dream or a dream you didn't even know you wanted.
Yeah, like it you know, when you move away, it's like you don't really appreciate Ireland as much, you know.
Until you...
Yeah, I think, and you do. Once you've gone, in the first couple of years, like I missed maybe 5 or 6 Christmases just due to working, and Dad would always be like, you know, make your money, you know, come home in January for a couple of days or whatever. And I think until you experience that, you know, being away and, you know, it's, yeah, you want to come back then eventually. I never really seen, I know my girlfriend will probably be like, oh, we'll probably stay at some stage. But no, I'd like to come back at some stage. I really would.
You're a Kildare man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Born and bred.
Well, not born, but bred.
Oh, where were you born?
I was born, well, start the story. My parents they moved away back 1986 for 7, 8 years.
To?
New York first.
Oh.
So Dad was working in construction, carpenter, plasterer by trade. My mum worked in IHOP, International
But did they go out there together?
Yes, they married. They built their house, locked the door, and just decided maybe go for a few months.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
When you were a baby?
I wasn't even born, wasn't even on the scene. Wasn't even
you
a
weren't
dirty
even
thought.
in the belly?
Yeah, wasn't even a dirty thought.
Are you the only son or have you any
No, I
children?
have a younger brother. He's 28, Shane. He's Blacklair and he's on a second apprenticeship. He's doing air conditioning, so
he cool dude. So
he's the tough. Yeah, he's the worker at home. So
so your mum and dad, what age were they when they decided to?
what I'd say, Mum was 21. She got married. Dad was 24. So yeah, just after they got married,
And
they
their house
decided
built?
they house built,
Fair
like
fuck's
fully
sake.
fit. Like the shell was there, windows were there. They literally locked the door. And I think Dad always says in the years they left, I think there was a scaffolding pole stolen in the 7 or 8 years. So, but
Did they live out the country?
lived out in the back arse nowhere. Yeah, just outside Prospers, between Prospers and Allenwood, Dagwell's Cross.
Oh well.
So,
So
yeah.
they just went out there, looked for a job.
Yeah, they just, you know what, decided, look, go over and try and save, pay off for the house. You know, back then it was like no one ever had a mortgage or... So
How long were they out there? Obviously getting busy.
Yeah.
And
Well, no, it probably was getting busy, but I wasn't a thought even then, like, 92. So, yeah, they went over to New York for 4 or 5 years. My dad went working for a Jewish guy at the time. And,
Jesus.
you know, supposedly a nice guy from what my dad, not the other one.
Right.
But, yeah, he was really good to my dad. He was there for 4 years in New York. And it's nice when Dad used to come over years and years ago. When I first moved out, we used to go around, he'd show me all the different buildings that he worked on. But
Because you used to go back out on holidays.
yeah, well, Dad's only been over once since I moved out because he's not really great at travelling, which kind
He's
of...
not really great at travelling.
Yeah.
Got married, built a house, fucked off to New York.
And I think, yeah, and then just, you know, after that just has no interest in going over.
What year were you born?
1992.
In New York.
No, St. Thomas, US Virgin Islands, which is still a part of the...
How the fuck did they get out there?
So the guy that Dad was working for, the Jewish guy, had apartments or had property down in St. Thomas, which is a part of the US. And supposedly big tornado, big hurricane hit the island. And work came up for them to go down and rebuild part of the island. So I think they moved down there about 1989 or so. They lived there for a few years. They lived just on the beach. I think Charlotte O'Malley is the name of the area where I was born in 92. So, yeah, it was...
How long did you stay out there?
I don't think I was there that long, maybe 6 months, a year.
So when they had you, did they go, oh, we miss home now?
No, I think Mum got very homesick. Her dad at the time was sick at home and she kind of just got a bit homesick and was like, you know what, I'm going. And I think Dad kind of stayed on for another 6 months or a year, I think, just to kind of, you know...
Finish up.
Yeah, because the story is that he was meant to, like, if they hadn't moved home, they were meant to be going to go to Australia. That's what he told me when we were younger. So who knows where they could have ended up staying in St. Thomas. It would have been a white Rastafarian living in St. Thomas. But one story is that the day I was born, Dad went down, down to check in the room where all the kids were. And the nurse was like, oh, yeah, just down there in on the left. And, you'll see, you'll be able to pick out. So Dad walks down and looks into the room, and I'm the only white child among 30 kids. So he's like, oh, I think I'll be able to find him. It'll be okay. So
the one without the dreadlocks.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, they traveled a lot. That was one thing, as time went on and I got older, Dad was always kind of like, go and see the world or whatever at some stage. But, never really like.
So did you grow up totally normal then?
Yeah, just grew up, went to school in Prosperous, went to secondary school in Clane,
Did you like school?
I did. I did enjoy it. I was never really good, as in exams wise, brutal at remembering things.
Just a good friend network and
good friend network, got on with kind of everyone, I did enjoy it. And like even secondary school, kind of 5th and 6th year, we had a great group of teachers in Clane. We really did. And a lot of people will agree with me because, they weren't that much older than us, and they got the crack, and they knew, that we were a good bunch of kids and whatnot. So like our graduation, I think we'd 4 or 5 teachers at it, and I think they had more crack than we had. Like, but
did you know what you wanted to do?
No, still don't know what I want to do.
And this is where Derek from Fore Golf comes in.
Yeah.
So you left school. Did you go to college?
Left school. No, never went to college. No.
You just wanted a job?
Yeah, well, I worked in the local golf club from 12, 13 years of age. I was the ranger. Used to make sure guys weren't slowing up.
How'd you get into that?
Oh, just joined the golf club at a young age.
So you into golf?
Yeah, I love golf. Always did.
So you wanted to be a professional golfer when you were younger?
No, I actually didn't want to be a professional golfer.
You just loved it?
I just loved it, and I wanted to play to, say, a high amateur level. You maybe get to scratch or something. So got to 2. That's the lowest I've ever been. But I just, the thing, working in the golf club from a young age, as you get older, the confidence it instills in you, being able to talk to people. Because, like, I was going down there signing in maybe 300 members, 400 members every weekend, all different characteristics, all different characters of guys, ladies,
But you're just meeting them?
Yeah, meeting them, sign them in, give them their cards before they go out playing, make sure that they're getting out on time and stuff like that. It was just kind of running of the, the golf club and whatnot. So it was...
So you were making bank?
Well, for maybe 15, 16-year-old, yeah, you were, where no one else had a bank card. And I was at a wedding the other day, and one of the lads says, Jesus, Morrison was the only one with a debit card when we were in school, But it kind of was like, Jesus, this is great.
And did your father not want you to go building?
No.
Never
told us to stay away from it.
Really?
As much, yeah. Just, and I ended up, not working in it like hands-on like a trade, but, doing safety over there at the moment in New York. But yeah, he never really wanted us to go near. No.
So how did you meet this man here?
Well, from a very, very young age when we first started playing golf, like, as some people might know Derek's story, like, opened up Fore Golf 97, like, maybe a couple of years after that, went to see Derek from my first golf club in Naas.
You went to Derek on a professional basis to try to get fitted or something?
Yeah, well, like, as a kid, yeah, Dad brought us to get a couple of clubs fitted properly. Dad's like, if you're going to play, do it right, and,
I think you would have been really young when you came to us first.
Oh, maybe 4 or 5 years of age.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez, you were big into golf.
Yeah, well, Dad was big into golf, and, my brother then was as well. So it was kind of, if you're gonna play it and get interested in it.
Can you remember him coming in?
Yeah, I kind of can. I remember his dad quite well. But over the years, then Aaron would come to us then as he got older. And then as he got like into his sort of teens, into his 15, 16, 17, he was coming to us relatively regularly, i.e. maybe once every year, 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he was growing and his game was developing. So you have to remember he got down to 2, which is like, it's pretty decent. So for non-golfers, that's really good in terms of the level. And he was coming to us then periodically over that time to, change the clubs because he was getting better. He's in a different type of clubs, getting stronger, getting bigger, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that I remembered about him coming was his stuff was impeccable. Like he would take such great care and attention of his equipment. And I would notice that because he'd come to me and I'd do the assessment and then we'd do up the spec and then we'd, get him built for him. And then I noticed every time he came, his stuff was impeccable. It was laid out perfectly in the golf bag. It was spotless. And he took huge care and attention of the equipment. And I remember saying to Dad, Aaron's working part-time up in the Woodlands Golf Club, which was just up the road from us at the time in Naas. And I said to Dad, you know what? I think we should take this kid in. This guy's
Poached him.
sharp. No, he was just sharp. He was sharp.
Did you poach him?
Well, no, I scrambled him.
You poached him.
Scrambled.
You took him.
No, well, when you recognize somebody is good and you recognize, and you have he's all the right traits in the right places. And it's gas because I wrote that down. He said something earlier on. He said he was terrible in school because he was brutal at remembering things. And this dude could remember a fella's name. We used to call him the guard. So we nicknamed him the guard in work because he'd remember the card would pull in and he'd recognise the registration. Oh, that's Dave Cuddy. And I'd be like, he was here like 2 years ago. Yeah. So we always used to tease Aaron. We used to say to Aaron, hey Aaron, go out there and check the insurance and tax in the car.
What year did you start working with Eric?
2010.
Yep.
Did
Just
he
on a
ask you to go
part-time.
working for him?
He just kind of asked me to come in and do a few days because I was still in secondary school.
He was still in school.
Yeah,
he used to cycle from his house to work and everything.
Yeah,
in the
before
summer.
I got my license, I used to cycle over to Red Lane where they were back. Yeah,
That was a fair cycle too.
yeah. It was.
But I recognised he was good, so I told him come in part-time. He did a summer job with us first. He got on like a house on fire with my dad. My dad's the hardest man to work with. He's not the hardest man to work with, but he's quirky. And Aaron, of course, is just as quirky. They were like two peas in a pod. It was unreal. And I said, geez, and if he can get on well with Dad, that's perfect because he can do workshop, which he was. He was Dad's helper in the workshop. So he'd do grips, he'd do inventory. And then it got to the stage where he was actually like literally running the show. So he was pulling the strings, looking after the people, dealing with all the inquiries as time went on.
Yeah.
He was exceptional. I'm not saying that because he's sitting here. He's exceptional. He was an exceptional individual. Remembered people's names, remembered what they'd bought. Like instant recall, which is the hardest thing to teach.
The perfect employee that you've been looking for.
He was perfect. He genuinely was.
Did you love your job?
I did love it. Yeah, I think going back to working in Woodlands, I enjoy people. I enjoy meeting different types of people. Because it's you're meeting so many different types of golfers, especially because first of all they're just weird with like golf clubs and the way things are, and you'd meet all sorts from the spectrum,
So where things get interesting for me, anyway, is why'd you leave? And why did you make such a big jump?
Do you know what? The friends of mine went into J1 2013, 2014, guys from school. And, they went over on a visa. Like I was born there, so I didn't have to deal with visas or any of that. I had the passport there. I had my social security card that I literally signed the day before I flew. Like it sat in a folder in our house for, 20-something years. And they come back, and I remember so well, we're sitting in McDonald's in Naas, and there's 6 or 7 of us. We all just went in just to meet up after the summer. Yeah, friends of mine. And they're all talking about, they were in Chicago, they're in New York, and we're doing this and doing that. We travelled Maryland to Ocean City for the weekend. We're partying. And I don't know, like I was going steady with a girl for 3-4 years at the time, and, like always good job, good relationship, everything. But I don't know, just something clicked in my head. I was like, you know what? I need to go and see the world.
But I remember we were in the car. I don't know what we were doing. We were talking about going on a trip or something.
Yeah.
Us. And the next thing is Aaron pipes up there. I have a US passport. We were going to go to the Masters.
Yeah.
And he said, "Just I'm grand. I have a US passport." I said, "What do you mean you have a US passport?" He said, "I was born in."
You didn't know?
I didn't know. It's not the thing you look at, because he was from Prosperous. He sounded like he was from Kildare. And then he pipes up with this thing. I was born in the Virgin Islands. What? I have a US passport. I says, right, you need to leave. You need to go to America. Isn't that what I said to you? I remember him in the car saying to you, you need to leave. And he looked at me, what do you mean? And I go, I don't want you to leave, but you got to go. Because it's a huge opportunity when you're young. And I knew, because I had done that, I had gone out there when I was 15. I'd gone out there and gone to school out there. And I knew that once you get past a certain point in your life, you just don't go, because you get stuck and you get, you know, families and mortgages and kids and, you know,
Life.
stuff happens, life happens. And you don't take the opportunity. And then if it is a big opportunity, then it's a hard, America's a hard gig because you need to be loaded. America doesn't work if you're poor.
Yeah.
And I knew that he would have an opportunity because he wouldn't be taking the risk of 4 people, as in like wife and kids, and go himself, doesn't work 3 weeks, come back again. Plus he's the passport.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you got to go. And you looked at me, I remember you looking at me going, what do you mean? I says, your perspective on life will change exponentially. You will have, it'll be the greatest thing that ever happens to you to get away and travel and use the time while you can.
So you made up your mind to go.
Yeah, made up my mind, you know, and a friend of mine, Sean O'Brien, that's living in Australia now, was like, you know what, I'm going to go for the summer. So 2 of us sorted flights. And
Did you break up with the woman?
did, yeah, that was...
Just
Do you know what? It was on my mind for a couple of weeks, and you know when you kind of look at someone, you're like, something
sick
not.
of my horse.
I know I can't say that. No,
Yes, no,
no, you know, some people are in that situation where it's like, oh fuck, I'm out here.
I went around her house and told her, look, you'll have to go because he has to go.
But you know, I'd kind of been saying it to it, like, and I'd said it to her as well, because you know, why don't we go? And you know what? She was in the middle of doing college or whatever, and she had her own thing she wanted to do, and you know, mutually we parted ways.
She was in the middle of doing her tests, and you walked in the night before and listen, you want crazy ass bitch.
But
You don't gotta go, but you can't stay here.
yeah, it was we just look, I was still kept in touch for you know,
An hour.
How long did you before you decided? Was it when you left, gone on a plane?
What do you mean by?
So from the time you decided and broke up with the woman, and
I'd say it was about 3 months, 3-4 months. I'd say, yeah.
and did you have an idea what you were going to do over there?
I hadn't a clue.
Did you go over on your own?
I went with Sean, my friend, and
We had a pal in New York, didn't we?
yeah,
I had a pal.
yeah, Niall's brother. Yeah,
And I reached out to him and said, hey, I have a guy going out. He's 100%. He's so down the line. If he comes to New York, we look after him. He runs the pubs, this guy in New York, an Irish lad. And he said to me, absolutely, he's a good guy. I said, look, I will literally...
What pub is it?
oh, it's not there anymore. Malloy's Irish pub was on 50th
Where'd
and
it
9th
go?
Avenue.
Huh?
No, it's all right. Wrong avenue.
But anyway, and I reached out to another few people, and I knew that if the bar didn't work out, that I had a couple of people that I could kind of lean on that I knew, because I wanted to make sure he'd at least get out there and have something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like going over the first day. I remember the first time ever seeing my dad cry. That was, you know, in the kitchen, and you know, it's actually happening. And I remember getting to the airport.
Did he think you wouldn't come home or something?
No, I don't know whether he thought I wasn't going to come home or not. But
I think there was some context, like they're extraordinarily connected as a family, and that's not like saying that everybody isn't, but just
Close.
they're
we
very
would be
close.
I
They're
would
very
be very
close.
close with my dad and mom. You know, like as time went on, living over there, you know, you get close. Even with my brother, as much as he doesn't really, you know, we wouldn't. Not that we wouldn't text a whole lot. We wouldn't really, but when I come home, it's a hug, everything all right, you know, and that would be our
But
relationship.
I
you
knew
know?
I knew it would be tough, and the day he left, I can see him waving and going out the window, and we put it up on social media, and everybody was gutted that he was leaving.
Yeah.
And soon my dad was gutted.
Did you cry when you were gone?
Yeah, I did. When I got to the airport, I was like, Jesus, this is fucking happening. Like, you know, like, and we got to the other side, and you know what?
You stopped crying though when you didn't have to queue with all the people at immigration, didn't you?
Yeah, everyone else is
On
down
the
there
US
going,
channel, how are you launch? Passport in hand.
But it
Good
does. It
luck.
feels weird because you're getting stopped at security. So you go through normal security upstairs, and then you go down into the bit of US that's down in Terminal 2. But everyone else is going, visas, whatever, and you're going down like with all the US citizens, and it's, like it's very intimidating. Even today, like living there for so long.
Why is it more intimidating for you as a
Do
citizen?
you know what? I've had cases flying, like just coming home for a couple of weeks or whatever, a couple of years ago, and I remember just getting a horrible fucker of a cop, at immigration, and I was like, the questions, like I was there for a good 5 or 10 minutes.
What questions?
just like
Give me one that sticks out.
you know, are you carrying anything illegal into the country, or
Put a big black glove on.
how much are you
Lad,
bringing
if you've
with you?
seen this willy I have, it's a fucking
Do you want to
weapon.
pat me down? But yeah, it was like, you know, I felt really intimidated, like,
Thanks
you
a
know.
lot, Bin Laden.
You know, do you know what? I was like, should you not be asking people that are, you know, you like, I'm just coming back and forth. Like, you know, you see everything, you know, stamped but yeah.
Did you ever think you might have an untrustworthy face?
We need to bring a load of cocaine into New York. Is there any chance you could bring it in a rag? Yeah, how much are you going to pay me?
Strapped to his forehead.
When you did you go and get the job straight away? Like when you got off the plane,
So when
did
I
you
got off-
say, I may sort out this job?
Do you know what?
quickly?
We kind of were just getting accommodation sorted maybe a couple of days before we left, you know, and we ended up in Harlem, up on 125th Street, St. Nicholas Avenue. And, you know, you hear in movies, oh, Harlem, rough. And like, I wouldn't say it was rough. Like at the time, 2015, it was, you know, regentrifying. Like there were, you know, people were moving out and Manhattan was kind of moving up into those rougher areas. So they were doing it up. There was more, not going to be like racist about, but more white people moving up into Harlem. You know, they were making it like putting up really big high rises, making it expensive. But I remember the first couple of days we were there, and we went down into the city just to have a look around, you know, Brooklyn Bridge, do all the touristy stuff at the start. And I remember myself and Sean and a few others were coming off the A train at 125th. And we walked up, and there was like 20 squad cars on that intersection. And we're like, what the fuck's going on here? It's like, you know, Beirut. And some guy comes over and says, oh yeah, the two guys got shot in the Popeyes over across the street. It's like, huh? I was like, I'm going to be living here. And it is eye-opening. Like, and even being so naive when you first move over, like same another night, we came home after a night out, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and it's like a deli or a bodega at the end of our street.
At night time?
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. They're open like all the time. And Sean was like, oh, I want to get some ramen noodles. Go up, and he's fucking drunk, so wanted to kind of soak up all the drink. I remember this black guy comes up, he goes, hey man, I need to make a phone call. Can I use your phone? I was like, oh jeez, yeah, no bother, here. There you go, sure. Phone away. And made his phone call, happy out, on the phone for about 5 minutes, and handed it back to me. And Sean comes up and he goes, what was that all about? I said, oh, just give him my phone to make a phone call. Are you fucking serious? He's like, first of all, you could have got stabbed. Second of all, he would have robbed your phone and fucked off. It's like, that's how, I don't know whether anyone else is like that, but that's, you know, the first couple of days, you're not aware of anything, like, you know, it's.
And how did you find working in the pub?
Yeah, so went down, met Derek's contact, met the owner of the bar, and went down and interview and the whole lot. Went down, bought black trousers, black shirts, shoes, the whole lot. Make sure they were well presented. So yeah, ended up getting the job.
Did you bring much money with you?
I brought the price of a Ford Focus, which was €4,000, which my brother bought. Actually, that's how much I brought with me. So I couldn't sell the car for love nor money, so he bought it off me, and I went with that. So yeah.
And how long did you stay in the pub? Did you like that?
Yeah, it was good. You know what? It was very nerve-wracking at the start, you know, because I'd never worked behind a bar before in my life. Like, the only time I ever worked, you know, was the couple of weeks before I left. Mam's brother was managing a bar up in Clondalkin, so she was like, Aaron's going over, he might do a bit of bar work. Is there any chance, you know, could you do a bit of work, or, you know, give him something just to kind of get ready for it? And I ended up going up to the Swallows in Dublin, up in Clondalkin.
Some name.
Well, I tell you, it was some spot, because the first night I got in there, Pat was like, Jesus, if you had been here last night, a fella drove his Jeep through the front door because he got barred. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Is it harder to work in a bar in America? Because the way they pay for everything is really weird.
Yeah, well, it's the tipping system over there, you know, and it's all like tabs. So, you know.
Taxes. What's that shite with taxes?
Yeah, so you go into a store or something over there, and you see it's $150. But
The price isn't $150.
You go to the register and it's like
fucking annoying.
$2. It's like, but I only have one. That's
Yeah.
It's like, no, they put it on when you get to the tip. Still can't get my head around why they still do that.
It's fucking stupid. You need to do better, US.
Yeah, it's weird.
How long did you stay at the bar?
Well, Jesus, I was there for 3 months, and then you kind of get into the industry and you start getting to meet people, other Irish that are working there years or whatever. But I was lucky; I got myself in touch with a lot of good Irish people that were working in bars over there when I first moved. Because a lot of some people get shafted, working long hours. Some of them don't even get paid. Oh yeah, we'll give you your tips next week or whatever. But I was lucky, just met the right people, and there was a job came up down the bar in Wall Street that they were doing up at the time, the full shilling, and went down.
Was that fancy?
Yeah, it was. It was a really, really nice bar. It still is today. It's one of the nicest.
You liked it down there?
Yeah, it was.
And do you get paid tips?
We get paid tips, but you don't really get a wage. Your wage kind of goes towards taxes. That's how it kind of. You're basically just working on tips. That's
what people give you.
Yeah.
But in a busy bar, who's giving tips?
Well, everybody, to a certain extent.
So, so how much would you pull in tips generally a night? On a busy night?
Depending on how busy it is.
Don't look high now, right? There's no one listening.
I'm not going to be like this. Yeah, look, it's good night. You could make $400 or $500.
Fuck off.
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
every night a week.
It wouldn't be every night, and it wouldn't be all. It wouldn't be all year round. It's like it's seasons with the bars. Depending on the area, the city. Like Wall Street during the summer would be quiet because a lot of the guys would be off. For the summer, schools are closed, whatever. So it wouldn't be as busy. But from September, October to January, it'd be crazy.
I knew he'd do well in the bars because he's got fabulous recall on people and names.
Oh, Johnny, it's yourself. You want brandy there?
Yeah, your bullshitting just goes. That's.
Do you have to?
You have to.
Dick over there. I'm not talking literally, by the way.
Yeah, you do. you do because that's your bread and butter. That's and friends of mine that are in the same business over there will agree. It's
and those are the life lessons that I knew he needed to learn in order to move on and progress and become the guy that he is and that he will be, because he'll have that sharpness. He'll have the ability to, go to a foreign place, find accommodation, look after himself, mind himself. He's the toughest place in the world. One of the toughest cities in the world to survive in is New York. It's one of the hardest places to actually survive.
If you don't make money in New York,
you're dead. You're out. But also his ability to adapt, his ability to, so these are the things I said to him. These are the things that you won't learn that in Ireland.
Yeah.
So you're making fair old money over there?
Yeah, we're making enough money to be able to go and travel. When I first moved over, you worked 4 shifts a week or whatever. So you had 3 days of the rest of the week to do, whatever you wanted. So earlier on when I moved there, I was like, you know what? Go to wherever, go to Boston, go to Philly, go to Chicago, see all these cities. The first big one I went to was Ireland, New Zealand in Soldier Field in Chicago. That was an incredible weekend. First time Ireland had beaten New Zealand in fucking how long? But I think
and you still hanging with your friend at this time that you went out there?
Sean had actually left. Sean only stayed for 3 months. He just did his holiday visa and left. So I actually flew out on my own to go to Chicago. Now there was friends from the area that I was living in Queens that were going to it. So you're always going to bump into someone. But kind of last minute, I was like, you know what, I'm going to fly. So I did 24-hour layover.
Did you become very independent?
Yeah, you do very early. I was as a person, I was very I'm that type of guy that's happy in his own company.
Were you driven to succeed financially or driven to just become self-sufficient?
I'd be telling a lie if you were not driven to, financial wise. When I first went over, I was like, you know what, if I can save enough for a good mortgage or something, or come home eventually or something,
so that was your
goal. Because things even back then, a lot of friends of mine were going traveling and that, and I was like, see how long I stay. But yeah, financially I would have liked to have.
So how long did you stay in the bar?
Up to COVID 2019 2020, yeah. So after that, COVID fucked everything. Let's tell the truth, it really did. Like the bars over there was 25% capacity, wearing masks, and I couldn't deal with that. So I was like, you know what? Like when COVID hit, I just moved home. A few of us were like, what the fuck's going to happen? And we're like, my last shift was the 15th of March 2020. It's a Saturday night, I think. There's no one in the city. It was quiet. You could kind of tell something was coming. I closed up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, went home, and a few of us met up for a drink and whatever. And like the bar's not looking like it's not going to open for Paddy's Day. That was on the Tuesday. We're like, we don't know what's going to happen. So we all just booked a one-way ticket back to Ireland, and we're like,
fuck this.
Yeah, but like everyone laughed at us. Like there was 5 of us that ended up flying together on the Sunday, and everyone's like, you're fucking mad. Why are you going home for? Sure, look, it'll be grand. It'll pass. You know, I'm sure they're not saying it's going to last too long. Excuse me. And they were all wrong. 2-3 weeks later, a lot of people started just went home. You know, now I could go home. My friends could go home. They were able to travel back and forth, but it was just the unknown. You know,
Isn't it amazing the way we all just forget how much of a fuck everyone got? How fucked everyone was.
Yeah. I don't forget.
No, I definitely don't forget.
It was just, yeah, but people go on as if this didn't happen. Just the world literally came to a stop.
Yeah,
that's it.
But it like, I was very lucky. I was able to get unemployment over there because I'd been paying into taxes for years. But there's a lot of people that we forget that are, undocumented over there that had saved up so much for years, worked so hard for, and had to move home. Like, I know a couple of guys that were living there for 2 months and were like, kind of just riding it out to see, would things open. They were saying, maybe June we'll be back to normal. They still have to pay rent. They still have to pay bills. They still have to eat,
Were you walking over dead bodies in the street over there?
No. Well, I wasn't there.
But before, did you see all these sick people?
No, I didn't see it because before everything knocked out, we just got on a plane and went home.
Did anyone get really, really sick?
A few friends of mine were kind of sick.
In ICU?
No, nothing that.
You?
No, nobody.
No, I didn't.
Neither. Funny that. Anyway.
But my granny passed away just before COVID, and I'm kind of
this could be awkward.
Yeah,
just wind that back there.
Yeah, that was the 12th of March, but that's what I wanted to go back to, was not being able to go home to her funeral was horrible. Like, she didn't die of COVID, but
you couldn't travel then.
I could travel home, but I would have had to isolate them when I went back, so
going back a bit, from the time that you went out to the time that COVID happened, how many years in between there that you were there as a career bar man?
15 to 2000, some 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And in the 5 years, was there a time where you went, oh God, I'm so lonely, I miss home? Or, you're making money, everything's good, everyone thinks you're living the dream at home, and you're there, God, I miss home, I want to be at home.
Yeah, do you know what it is? For the first couple of years, as I said, I didn't go home for any of the Christmas, but I'd still go home during the summer. That was the joys of where I ended up bartending, was, getting time off during the summer was never a problem. So
you were busy though. I remember reaching out to you. I was in New York, and you were like, "Dude, I'm hammered. I can't get out.
Yeah.
What was your work day? What was the hours?
I ended up leaving the job in Wall Street after about a year and a half. I ended up moving up into Midtown, up near Grand Central, to a bar called Mulligan's, and worked for 3 lovely guys. 2 of them are now retired out of the business, but it was a great spot, great bar,
What kind of bar?
It was kind of that construction type of bar, office people in the area, 10 o'clock in the morning, you could have 40 construction guys sitting down having breakfast that have been working since 3 or 4.
So like a restaurant?
Yeah, but it was rough and ready. And like they won't give out to me for saying that. It was that kind of like, it was clean, don't get me wrong, it was a clean spot, but it was that kind of, you know,
Working man.
yeah, working man, blue collar kind of spot. You know, there was no airs or graces about it. You know, whether you were the iron worker sitting at the bar or some guy that's fucking doing finance of 500 million, there's both sitting beside each other, but you know, you're still getting the same crack out of them. You know, when they come to sit at the bar, that kind of all leaves them. It's, you know.
If I asked you what the biggest cultural difference is between the average person in New York that you were dealing with to a normal Irish person, what would it be?
Jesus, I don't know. The New York is just, people are just so driven. Like it's money, it's hours. It's like, people don't realize here, New Yorkers could be working 14 hours in an office. Like it doesn't sleep. It's constant.
Well, it's only the land of the free if you have money, the home of the brave if you don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now because there's such a divide, but yeah, I don't know whether there's a huge difference between Irish and American. I don't know. It's like, I think family. I think Irish people are very family orientated. Like some of the big holidays, and especially from working, like Thanksgiving, you know, it'd be like Christmas for us. Like, you know, it's everyone's here as family, all cousins coming over. I'm going to cook dinner this year. Where I worked Thanksgivings, I used to do a double shift. I used to open and close on a Thursday, and I'd have these couples come in every year, the same couples, which was lovely. But they never spent, like, family was like, nah, well, they're all like, we don't really talk to them, and son's living in Europe or something, and it's just the two of them, which is kind of sad.
Had you a girlfriend over there?
I had one or two in earlier years, but
Nothing stuck.
yeah, I don't know what it was.
Is it
Maybe it was
working?
me.
Well, it was working bars and nights. And
Yeah.
Were they Irish girls or American
Irish girls, yeah. I never really. I found them very high maintenance.
Here you're a racist now, Aaron.
Yeah, I hear you're racist now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Kind of got, when I first moved over, I ended up meeting a girl from Long Island, and kind of just freaked me out a bit. Like, I was only there maybe 6 months, and it was like she came from like a not wealthy but like comfortable family out in Long Island. Her dad had a good job, her mum had a good job, and like it's all about money with some of them. It's like, so can you provide for me, and can you know? I'm like, oh no, fuck this. So no.
So
it was,
after COVID, what did you do during COVID?
when I moved home first, which is, what was it? We were 2 weeks in Cavan up in Ballyconnell, staying in a friend of ours. Her parents had a house, and we isolated.
Ballyconnell?
Up in Ballyconnell,
That's
yeah.
a happening spot.
Yeah, really is. Quinn country. So there wasn't a whole lot happening back there. Like when we moved back first, like we were staying in this housing estate, and there was 5 of us, and we just isolated for 2 weeks. Then we got tested like the second week. It was weird. It drove me fucking crazy. I really couldn't get my head around this. You know, can't go here, can't.
It must have been some shock to the system going from New York, working in busy bars, to Ballyconnell.
To Ballyconnell, isolating, and like walking to Super Value, or not walking. We drove to Super Value to get like a big shop for the 2 weeks, and masks and gloves, and you know,
It's crazy.
yeah, it was.
So
The only good thing about it is I had a Q5 rented for the couple of weeks, so I was delighted with that.
And had you a ball of money now when you came home?
I wouldn't say the ball of money. I was comfortable, like, you know.
Yeah,
like,
no woman spending it on you anyway is what you're actually
No.
telling us. If you
No
minutes.
board from Long Island reaching out on you, that's for sure.
No, like, I wouldn't say it would, like, you'd hear lads, oh, you're, you know, like, I still enjoyed myself, you know. When I used to come home, I'd always rent a nice car. We had a good contact in Dublin Airport. That's
Everyone
not-
would be thinking though that you're making.
Yeah,
a ball of
like,
money.
but you wouldn't really tell them a whole lot anyway. Like, you know, let them think whatever they want. You know,
They're going to find out now.
you know what I mean. But no, I was
Salary details in the
wouldn't
notes
say-
below.
I wouldn't say I'm not flashy. I'm not that type of person. But I like, you know.
Well, you came up here now when he had the biscuits. Maryland cookies. You don't bring up Maryland cookies unless you're fucking balling, boys.
And that's a fact.
You never come to a house empty-handed, right?
That is very true.
I was
That is very true.
taught that very young.
I have a habit of...
It's interesting to note that you both bought the same biscuits.
Yeah. I have an awful habit of going into people's house and looking in their fridge. It's an
really?
awful bad habit.
You did it in my house.
Yeah, I have just a habit when I get a little bit nervous. I just stare in the fridge.
Jesus, I'd never go rooting anyone's
And I remember
fridge.
going to an ex-girlfriend's house my first day there, and I was nervous. And I looked in the fridge, nothing in the fridge.
And was it not in the fridge?
There's nothing I liked anyway.
Oh, not in your light. What's this chorizo? What's this?
Greek yogurt. Like, there's no
What the-
taste on it. What the fuck's that?
Yeah, fuck's sake, your milk's out there.
Yeah.
You need to go to the shop.
So what did you do then? So you're home and you're tested.
Yeah,
you
so
don't have
we got
AIDS.
tested. We went to Ballyhaise, got tested. We ended up coming back down home and glad to see mum and dad, my brother, and dad goes to me, I'm going to go and re-roof the house. I said, what? Oh, I'm going to re-roof the house. No, it's the right time to do it. So my dad ordered all the material on the Tuesday and all the hardware's closed on the Thursday. So he 7,000 or 8,000 euros worth of material. So 6 weeks we re-roofed our house, insulated it, brand new.
And did you know how to do all that?
No, I learned very quickly. My brother did. Shane is very good with his hands. Like, he'd be hands-on, walking up the roof, no problem. I'm fucking, first couple of days, I'm fucking on the scaffolding and the thing is going to fall off.
Fucking Spider Shane.
But Dad's looking at me, he's like, come on, will you? Like, you'll be grand. But after the second week, I'm fucking walking around, you know, not a bother. But it was interesting. It was enjoyable. You know, like the weather was great, which was a plus. You know, it was nice to be kind.
Good
you know,
bonding time.
It was very good. Like, Dad would be, you know, a tough man. You know, I wouldn't say he'd be hard on us, but you know, he's
He's a quiet man.
yeah, he's great. He is good to be around, and it was enjoyable to be, you know, learning something with him too. Like, you know, and even Mam came up on the roof and gave a hand, handing up slates.
It also
and
meant
stuff
though
like
that he was distracted from the stress of it.
Did you? What were you thinking in your head? Like, do I go back? Do I not go back?
I didn't know what. Like, do you know what?
You didn't know what to go back to because
Yeah.
everyone was closed.
Well, like, New York was, from what I was told, was on curfews. You know,
And you had your apartment there just idle.
I was still paying rent. Well, do you know what? I was living with two girls at the time. They were still there. They
Respect.
they were still living there and that. So
Nudge, nudge.
Nudge, nudge, respect.
yeah, no,
Is it like an episode of Friends? Rachel, I'll take you tonight.
no, it definitely wasn't like that. But no, one of the girls kept the place till I came back, and then came back. When was it? August. But that whole summer was just weird. Like, the first lockdown, when everything opened up, I think there was 20 of us went to Killarney partying, so we couldn't
Yeah.
wait to get the
There
fuck
was a
out
big
of there.
blowout then, wasn't there?
Oh,
Yeah.
very big blowout. I
But
remember
when you
yeah.
went back, like, did you hate going back? Had you went, oh, I miss home now. I actually want to stay. Or were you anxious to get back?
Well,
to
do you know what?
normal?
When I was home, when I came back, do you know what? There was nothing. You couldn't really apply for anything. There was nothing really happening. But when I went back in August to New York, I was like, it wasn't the same. I didn't have that same feeling of when I used to come back, you know, on holidays, and you'd fly into JFK and you'd see the skyline. You'd be kind of get them butterflies, and you'd be like, I didn't get that in August when I went back. It's like,
This
doesn't-
again.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. And I even went back in to see my boss and to see how they were getting on in the bar. It was like they had seating outside. It was, you couldn't have anyone inside. And I kind of said to him, I was like, no, this isn't for me. And it was probably a bit selfish. I was like, you know, maybe I should be just putting the head down and trying it. But the whole thing of masks and fucking wiping things, I was like, no, I have no patience for this shit. And so many people did, and you know, fair play to them, like, Bula Bus, because you know, some people had to, you know.
So what did you do?
Oh, farted about for 2 months, thinking of like, oh, will I go back to bartending or whatever? And I was like, you know, maybe not. Maybe just go home and maybe give it a go at home. A few friends of mine had come back and packed up and were like, you know what, we're going to move home and see what happens. But yeah, moved 1st of November, came back, packed everything up in boxes and just moved home.
Didn't even care. Just had your
Yeah,
mind made
you
up.
know, it was just in my head. I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to go home. You know, this is like, we're still in COVID. It was still whatever. And I said, you know what? This is the chance to go home and see if I wanted to move home, and you know, reached out, applied for On Post, applied for a couple of other jobs, you know, and hoping, you know, the On Post one I was kind of hoping, you know, because
Doing what? Postman?
yeah, I was kind of like, you know what,
I wanted him to be a guard so bad.
yeah, that kind of, well, COVID really knocked me off the guards altogether when I seen how things went, like just the way people were being treated at checkpoints and that. I was like, no, I couldn't be dealing with that. And I always wanted to be a guard growing up, always from a young age, and it just totally turned me off it. But I was kind of thinking On Post, you know, you're on your own, you're out meeting people, whatever.
Guards is a fierce, tough job now.
Oh yeah, no,
It
But
is.
it's just because of his the way he was and the way he is. I just thought he would make a brilliant guard, just from knowing him
Yeah.
as much as I know.
And I
him.
had the contacts, like Woodlands was flooded with guards, so you'd always had contact of, you know, helping to get into it. But just the COVID just kind of turned me off.
So what did you get after?
I ended up just doing a couple of days here and there with Dad. I do you know what? I didn't know where I was, Dave, to be very honest. It was,
So is it a very lost time for you?
yeah. I wouldn't go as far to say it was dark, but it was just very lost. Just, and like my girlfriend now, I had met when I came back the August, September, October, and we kind of kept in touch, and we'd met over the Christmas and whatnot, and you know, it was kind of for her to be able to talk to her. I was talking to her every day. We never missed a day on Snapchat talking or chatting, and she'd even admitted herself, like, I was totally lost. I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. And I'd be kind of just looking for things to do with Dad or whatever, or Uncle. You know, he does a bit of farming and whatever. And
He didn't even reach out to me.
you know,
Why is that?
I don't know. I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. You know, no one. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a time in my life I kind of want to forget.
And you were also in a position where you didn't have to do anything.
No, you didn't. But I'm not that type of person that I can't sit around. You know, I really like. If someone told me, "Geez, if you go down and pick up fucking tires down in Cork for me," yeah, no problem. I'll go down and do that for you. You know, it was just to do something, just to get out and. But yeah,
How did you get out of that limbo?
well, I suppose chatting back and forth to the girlfriend now, you know, I was kind of like, "Do you know what? I think nothing's going to materialize here." So I was like, "Do you know what? I think it's maybe time to give it a chance and maybe go back." And, you know, I did. I went back at the end of June.
Back to New York
Yeah.
to do the same work?
Yeah, I said I wasn't going to go into bartending, and I did. And I ended up going into a place and worked there for a year.
Where was that?
It was up on 55th and 6th Avenue. It was Cassidy's. Yeah, it was a tough spot. It was.
In what way?
I wouldn't say the clientele. Like, it was a later spot. It was like you wouldn't get finished till 4, 5 in the morning.
What would you like to work with?
They were fine. People were fine to work with. It was just, you know, we got a lot of industry, as we would call it over there. So a lot of like waitresses, chefs, bartenders. And, you know, some nights there it was just rough, you know, fights and shit like that. And I'd never really had that in the other bars. And I remember one night, Jesus, we were working. I think it was just coming up to Christmas, and it was busy. It was very busy. There's 2 or 3 of us on. And it was like 2 in the morning. And we had just put in a pool table into the room next door. They had done up the bar, and I was kind of back and forth checking on them. You know, I was working with a Mexican guy at the time, and, you know, no offense, but he hadn't got the, you know, wouldn't say authority, but just presence that I did. You know, I was a lot taller than him or whatever, but been able to deal with people. And I remember walking in.
So had you to be the kind of bouncer?
Yeah, you
as
were.
well?
You were a bouncer, bartender, fucking whatever you want to call it, shrink, whatever. Like, it was just mad. And I remember 2 lads going at it, 2 friends fighting over 2 fucking Colombian women. Who's going to bring who home? And I was like, lads, calm the fuck down, or you're both out. Done. And they're like, yeah, no, we're fine. Anyway, I wasn't buying the bar 5 minutes, and one of the chefs from the restaurant across the street comes in and is like, Aaron, you need to come in here. Your man had literally pulled up a pint glass and smashed it in his friend's face. I was like, fuck, I'm brutal with blood, by the way. If anyone that knows me, I'd faint like that. But I don't know what it was. Just his whole face was just covered in that blood, gashed all the way across. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And your man's like, I'm sorry. He's like, get the fuck out. So everyone's pushing him out onto the street, making sure the cops aren't called, because that's bad for the bar. You don't want cops coming all the time because it affects the bar license and stuff like that. But yeah, I just remember being down in the bathroom with 2 or 3 other guys just trying to wrap something around this guy's head. And I was like, I'm going to call an ambulance. He's like, no, don't call an ambulance. Fucking, you call an ambulance in New York, it's $800.
Is it?
Yeah.
If you don't have insurance, you're in serious trouble.
Yeah, that's the cost of taking a ride on the bus. $800. So
Jesus.
he was like,
Yeah,
no.
healthcare. You don't have healthcare insurance out there. They ask you when you're going out there to do anything.
Yeah.
You know,
So we stuck him in
insurance.
an Uber. One of his friends like, I'll just put him in an Uber. We'll bring him up East Side to Mount Sinai and we'll get him sorted. So he was fine in the end, but it was just, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'd be coming home and I'd be like, do you know what? You know, my girlfriend would be like, oh, it's time to.
Were you like passing ships in the night then because you were coming in at 5 o'clock in the morning?
I could be coming in at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and, you know.
You were very lucky in hindsight that you had the girlfriend during that time.
Yeah, no, very lucky. Very lucky. And, you know.
Would you be a bit of a loner apart from that?
Uh,
Or did you stay close to all your friends?
I know, I'd still be. I wouldn't say I'd have loads of friends. I'd be that type of person that'd have, you know, I'd have 2 or 3 guys I'd text, and we wouldn't be texting all the time. Like, you know, be just phone call here and there. You know, I wouldn't be one of these like lads that'd have to be fucking texting one of the lads every day. It'd be now and again. You know.
So you had enough of that bar then?
Yeah. So I ended up leaving that, and I actually worked it around. I was like, okay, if I leave the job now at the end of July, I go home now for a couple of weeks and chill out at home and play a bit of golf or whatever, and then I'll come back and I'll go look for something. I was like, will I go construction route? I was like, will I go drive machines, which I absolutely love, but
What kind of machines?
Anything.
big tractor man.
Anything.
Go on, talk to me about machines. I like
I
these kind
love
of things.
track machines, diggers.
Diggity dig digs.
Oh yeah.
Do you drive diggity dig dig?
I'm not a great track machine driver, but I'd like give me anything else, I'd have no problem. Lorries, anything.
We used to, so we go to work when Aaron was working for me. We moved out to Meath, and we used to pick Aaron up on the way. He used to go to his grandmother's house, and we'd pick him up from Hot to Granny.
Yeah.
And we'd pick him up from the granny's house in Clane, and he'd come in with us, and we had a bullnose, a little baby bullnose as well. And so there was 3 of us across the front, and he'd sit in the middle. And I always said that I wanted to get one of those, you know, those Perspex dome roofs put on the van, because he'd be, oh, what's in that field? He'd be up looking around, and he'd be pushing out the way. What's the oh, there's a machine in there. There's a tractor in there. Oh. And we wanted to put this little dome in the roof so he could stick his head out through the roof like that and look around at all.
Still am terrible at that.
Loved.
How did you not, when you'd have all the construction guys that you'd know over in America and go, give us a go at the site. I want to go on one of the dumpers or something.
I know, like, and I know 2 guys that work in pile driving, like groundwork. Like these guys would put up the high rises. Well, they'd do the groundwork for it. Yeah, I never, like, I was asked, you know, would I? And then I was like, oh, you know, would I not just maybe go the other route or something? Because I felt like if I go down the route of driving machines, will I end up hating them then? Will I be like, fuck this, you know? But who knows? Maybe someday I might go down that route. But
So many people have different paths. Like most people, I think, say from my point of view, you take the path that you have to take. Because you don't have a choice, you know, right? I have a wife, chaps. I can't wait to choose. I just have to fucking just do it, and hopefully I'll get to like it. And if I don't, I'll make myself.
and you know what? Like, I could have easily, even before I moved to New York, I could have easily been one of those, as you call them, Illuminati, you know, silage guys. Like, so easily. you know, and
you'd love that as well.
oh, Jesus, like we were at a wedding the other day up in Cavan, and friend of mine was getting married, and we went up the night before because my girlfriend hadn't met anyone, and I hadn't really met many of the party either, so it was nice just to go up and meet everyone. And we're sitting outside the front of Crover House. We're just out in the veranda having drinks.
Whole load of tractors in the car park.
Just big 970 class lifting grass, and then every 2 minutes I'm like looking up over the hedge, and Celine's like, "Will you just sit down, please?" Or like, "Just take it easy." And I was like, "No, every time I'd be like, I'd have to look up and try to get a glimpse." But next morning she went to get her hair done. I was like, I'll go for a walk around the grounds or whatever. I made it like 50 yards out to the main gate, and they're like right across the road. I was myself and this older fella just standing there like two kids.
Licking the gate.
Yeah, just watching these tractors going in and out. But yeah, that's the type of...
That's how I think I am with airplanes and stuff. I always think that...
Airplanes?
Yeah, I love airplanes and helicopters and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I see them, I lose my mind. Like, if you look at my Instagram, it's nearly all like fighter jets and airplanes. And in my head, I'm thinking, I know well I could fly one of them. Genuinely,
it's funny you say that. So I remember saying to Aaron, you know, because he lived in New York and only in New York, didn't go anywhere else. I said to him, "So if you had your chance to go back to America, where would you go?" And he goes, "San Diego."
Yeah.
Down to Fighter Town.
I love San Diego.
Why?
Yeah, I you know what? A friend of mine that I met through my girlfriend when we went back during COVID, him and his wife lived in San Diego, and he was always like, "Oh, you should come over and visit." So, yeah, a couple of months after meeting him, he was like, "Yeah, come out to San Diego." So I was like, "Perfect," and I fucking loved it. By the ocean. So relaxed, no honking horns,
It's a completely slower
laid back.
pace.
Oh, it is so laid back.
But that's where Fighter Town is with the fighter, you know, like in Top Gun.
Oh, they're so cool.
There's a big Fighter Town
People
there.
in just lovely cars, you know, bikes. It's, you know, very relaxed. Everyone's real chill. You know, I was like, this is really nice. And there's a lovely bar in Pacific Beach where he lives called the Highness, and it's like what you call it, when the sun goes down. Oh jeez, I'm losing thought here. Like a sunset bar. So the bar closes when the sun goes down, and it's just so calm. It's the deck, and everyone's just chilling out having beers. But I loved it. I says if I wasn't to move back to Ireland, I'd move to California.
And all the golf companies are in San Diego.
Well, you're just dead set. You're moving back to Ireland. And that's it.
Yeah. Look, I wouldn't never rule anything out, but like I would really love to move home at some stage.
Where are you now?
And what are you doing now?
I'm working in safety, like in construction over in New York.
So how did you get from that?
When I came back after that 3 weeks and I came back to look for a job, I went into a bar that I knew a couple of guys working in. I was just said, look, I'll go in. I wasn't working, so I was going to grab a drink, buy teas, and I ended up sitting down beside a guy that used to come into the bar all the time when I worked in Mulligan's, and from Monaghan. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he literally just walked in just to charge his phone. So the two of us just met by pure chance.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What's going on? What are you doing with yourself?" I was like, "I'm actually unemployed," which is first I'd ever I was never unemployed, which was weird to say, but he's like, "Oh, I'm looking for someone to kind of just set up the jobs, you know, organise warehouse, do health and safety and that on the sites and whatnot." And I was like, "Okay." And kind of got chatting, and he's like, "What does this entail and what would I be doing?" And see, construction guys over there, it's not like here where John arrives up with his big van and all his tools in it. You know, the construction guys over there, it's like a little case. That's all they carry around. They'll just carry their own few bits. You have to set up the jobs for whoever's going to be there, the 4 or 5. So you're bringing all the gang boxes.
What's a gang box?
Like a big toolbox on wheels. That's what they call them over there, a gang box. And you'd bring 2 or 3 in, and cabinets. Just getting, you know, a shanty set up for them.
And do you have to do a course for that?
No, you don't have to do a course for that. No,
It's
you have
fucking brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have to do. You have to do courses for the safety. All right, it's not like here where it's the safe pass where you sit down all day. You actually have to go on and do
That
all
must
the
have
shit
been
in
some
it.
change from getting up early in the morning.
Huge.
Did you like
change.
it?
Yeah, I actually do. Well, I wouldn't say I'm a morning person, but I enjoy getting up.
He is a morning person.
I enjoy getting up early.
So how long are you at that now?
I'm at it a year.
You enjoying it?
Yeah, I do like it. What
Are
I
you
like
on,
about
are you on
it,
big buildings?
yeah, we're on
Skyscrapers?
We're working on the Empire State Building at the moment.
Fuck off.
Yeah, so I'm like going up.
He took a picture of the video of the crane on fire and sent it out the other day.
I was
seen it in the news.
big crane that the boom
Yeah.
fell on 10th Avenue. I was literally
there.
a block or two away from that.
He was the health and safety officer.
I was, yeah.
That was the day you were on. You fucked up everything. You had one fucking job, Aaron.
yeah.
Aaron.
It was weird.
Forgot to tighten the screw on that.
Yeah, it was weird because I was driving down. I was actually going into Hilty on 9th Avenue to pick up stuff. I'm like, what the fuck, the traffic? And I'd be like, what's going on? You know, but ended up getting to like 42nd Street, 9th Avenue, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? There's a big belly of smoke out of the sky, and I literally get to the next street and I look up and this thing's just engulfed in
Send me a
flames.
video. Here you are, Pete.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It was
Jesus
weird.
Christ.
Yeah, but that's just New York. Like, it's,
What are you doing in the Empire State Building?
We're doing glass partitions. We're doing offices on the 68th floor.
How long before that's finished?
Oh, it's another couple of weeks.
And it's going to be finished.
Yeah, it's going to be done. Like, our jobs could vary between...
68th floor. Think about that.
Yeah, so it's weird. Like,
What's it like in there? What's the building like?
it's old. Like, it is an old building, you know, but it's... One thing people won't understand is when you're going into... It doesn't even have to be the Empire State Building. If you're going to any building in New York, you're going through the loading dock, security, ID. It's like... Every building is different depending on how important it is. So, Empire State Building, like, they're pretty strict, you know. You have to be in by 8 o'clock delivering stuff. Like, if we're setting guys up, we have to be there early. Or after 8, you're like, you're not getting in.
But you that's working in the building end of it, how isn't that falling down? It's fucking ancient.
Well, they're
Like, how do they keep that
They're
from not
just constantly updating stuff all the time, like, you know. But the like where we are is just probably fucking 5% of what else is going on in the rest of the building.
Does it feel old when you're in it?
Not really. It doesn't. Like, the elevators don't anyway.
It's iconic though.
Yeah.
I was up the top of it.
Yeah.
So was I, and I found it creepy.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I found the Empire State. I had a vision in my head of it,
Yeah.
and then I walked into it, and I remember walking out on one of the floors after getting out of the elevator, and I was there. This is actually ancient. This is actually ancient.
Well, I think it's one of the oldest, other than the Chrysler Building, that's in Manhattan. Yeah. It's serious though to look up at it and be like, it's
Yeah, that's the thing I found in New York. When you're on the ground looking up,
an
it's like
incredible building.
Yeah.
you're kidding me.
But it's nice when you walk up, say, just dropping up whatever it is, paperwork or just, you know, material for the lads, and you're like, they're working on 68th floor, and you're just having a little nosy around, and you look out, and you're like, on a clear day, it's fabulous. Fabulous
Me
view.
any famous people over in New York?
Jesus. Yeah, I've met a few famous people. Liam Neeson now I've met a couple of times just out and about. Kiefer Sutherland from 24 back
What's he
in the
like?
day. He's a lovely fella. I actually served him. It was like the baseball like world final back when I was working down on Wall Street. I remember it wasn't too busy. The bar was quite enough because I think it was like on a Saturday, so Wall Street bars wouldn't be too crazy. But I remember him just walking in, and I was like, I kind of learned this from Derek because I remember we were down the Old Head years ago, and Michael Flatley was sitting at the bar, and Derek's like, just, you know, you're a 17-year-old, and you're like, oh, I'll go over and fucking start asking for stuff. And Derek's like, no, just leave him alone, let him do his thing. And that kind of stuck then after that. So when I served him, like, he was lovely, whatever, great crack, loves drink. I think he's an alcoholic, I think, from what I've heard, but
Shout out to Keith or something.
yeah, but a lovely guy.
Fucking alcoholic.
You know,
Fool.
Yeah, he lovely fella, real sound, and you know, at the end of the day, I was like, "Oh, lovely to meet you," and got a photo with him, and who else?
Did he tip much?
He did.
I won't ask how much.
We won't.
I won't ask.
I was very happy anyway. So
It was
yeah.
over 100.
Yeah,
And do you miss the bars now?
I do miss. I miss. It's the regulars I miss that used to come in. Like, I've met some incredible people working in the bars down through the years. Like, I remember there was one couple, they were from Georgia, and Patrick was his name. He had he'd lovely wife, lovely family. They used to come up quite a bit for work. And I remember we got chatting one weekend. I think it was their wedding anniversary, and he was like, "You into golf?" And I was like, "Fuck, I love golf." And he's like, "Oh, what do you play off and all this?" I was like, "Oh, like one or two." And he's like, "Oh, fuck." He's like, "Have you ever been to the Masters?" And I was like, "No, never. I would love to go to the Masters." And he's like, "Well, you know what? I only live 30 minutes away." He's like, "You know, you're more than welcome to come and stay whenever you want." And I was like, "I'll keep that in mind." So I think that was October. The following kind of January, February, I was like, just shot him a text. I was like, thinking of going to the Masters in April. Is there any chance I could come down and stay? I was like, "Oh, look, I'm going to rent a car, whatever." 100%. So I'd love to host you for a couple of days. So I was like, fuck, great. I didn't have a ticket because tickets were so hard to get. So booked the flight down to Atlanta, Georgia on my own. I literally went on my own. Booked a lovely rental car. I had a Dodge Challenger.
Oh, nice.
V8. Fucking class. Anyone that loves cars.
Yeah,
Driving
that's
this
cool.
for 2.5 hours down the highway, and that was pretty cool.
How much to rent that for the few days?
I think I had it for 3 days. I think it was like 400 or 500.
Fucking cheap as chips.
Yeah, I didn't really care how much it was going to be because I was like, I'm doing this now.
Didn't care.
I was like, this is a once.
Were you making so much bank at the health and safety?
No, at the bar. The bar at the time.
The bar.
Yeah. But it was, you know what? It was a once in a lifetime chance to go to the Masters. So I was like, you know what? For the whatever couple of days.
Did you meet that dickhead there?
No, you were there, but I don't think I met you.
He'd be
I
Up
was
with the
very,
echelons.
He'd be with the higher
I was
echelons of
very, very,
society.
very important.
You know,
so-
he'd be, he rolls in a higher crowd.
Yeah.
you
He'd
know?
be sitting in behind the white picket fence,
Yeah.
going like this with his Arnold Palmer. While the rest
I was
of us
sitting
on.
in. I was sitting in with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, with all the.
You know, he blocks my number from his phone when he's with all those important people.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
do.
he?
I wonder why.
I don't know, he'd be embarrassed saying no to me.
Well, no. But yeah, arrived down, and I swear to God, I've never seen a house like it. It was like this, like the ideal.
Isn't that one of the things though about America? And I've had the same situation. When somebody says to you, "Come and stay,"
They mean it.
they genuinely mean
Yeah,
it.
like
Whereas over here, people say, "Oh yeah, give us a shout if you're down around," and you'd be like,
yeah,
"How are you, Charlie? Who's this?"
yeah, but like
What a weirdo.
yeah,
when you meet like some American people, they are literally like that. It's what you see is what you get. If they like you, you know, they're so engrossed with you. And that was the same with Patrick. He was like coming in for years, got a relationship going just from over the counter. And then, you know, getting invited down and came into the house, and it was real like Southern America. It was like big pickup truck outside, you know, and
did they have a porch?
they had a lovely porch,
Do you
the
still chat
lovely
to him?
pool. I still keep in touch. Yeah, like mightn't text for 6 months and just get a text. Oh, I'm in New York. Come and meet me for a drink. So I was always good at like, even when I'm out of the industry now, I'd still try. If someone texts, "Can you meet up for a coffee or a drink?" I was like, yeah.
I text him, he says he's too busy. Just saying.
Hey, look, Derek, if you were nicer to people when they were at the Masters, maybe you wouldn't have these things happening.
But yeah, so went down, and American flag on the porch, and just real America proud. And he brings me into his garage, and it's fucking golf buggies, quad bikes, ATVs, and they live in this gated community on a golf course. So
A gay community.
gated community.
It's not wrong with being gay.
No, there's not.
Not wrong with being gated.
No.
But he brings me over. He's like, "This is my gun cabinet." It's like, "Oh, really?"
Oh,
He's
that's
like-
the freakiest thing.
He's
I've had
like,
that as well.
and it's like, do you know what? Because like we've
And do they want to show you?
Yeah.
all they do.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
Well, you know, down there it's different to up where we are in New York. It's
How big was this cabinet?
What's you?
well, it was able to hold 2 AR-15s and 10
that?
handguns, like an AR-15, like a.
So it was like a scene from Commando.
Yeah, it's I have the same similar situation. A friend of mine called Michael, and the garage is the same. And he went in, and he has this big case on the wall. It's like a big wardrobe,
Yeah.
for want of a better word. And he puts his thumb against the thing, and it's metric, and the door opens and he hits the button and this thing is on a revolving. It's like a lazy Susan, but it has all guns in it.
Fuck off.
On the God, and he has all the handguns laid out. He ate everything. I was just, it was there, and I'm like that. Really?
But I was like, do you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have asked. I was like, why the fuck do you need these many guns?
Yeah.
I was like, well, you know, if someone comes and tries to rob my house, it's like, who's trying to rob your house? You know, like I can understand, you know, they want to secure the house, but it's a bit overkill. Like,
if that was Ireland now, all the neighbours would be calling to you to shoot their dogs.
I think, and I've seen that a lot, especially in the South. They tend to buy them because they can rather than they need them.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, like he didn't need all those guns, but we went to get beer down to the local store, and he's like, "Oh, you grab my wallet there. It's just in the fucking glove box, and there's a fucking 9mm handgun in the like. It's crazy. It is like it's crazy because you don't expect it. Because over here, like if you seen a guy with a shotgun in the back of the van, you'd be like, "Oh, bit of shooting there at the weekend." But
I've started to see a few things lately, though, that I could do a 9mm handgun.
Skip on from that quick.
that could take a while. We could be a while talking about that.
So, you're mad to come home?
At some stage, yeah.
You just have, but you have enough of kind of New York, do you?
No, not yet. Not like another couple of years. There is still a lot to see,
but you come home a lot.
Yeah, I do. Probably too much sometimes.
So how often do you come home? What's your timeline on stuff now?
It's every fortnight.
Yeah. Fucking, I should have shares in Aer Lingus by this stage, but
they know your first name. Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah. But 3 times a year.
Have you flown business class yet?
Only twice, but by pure mistake.
Isn't it class?
It is lovely, and it was coming back to New York, which was even better because it's a longer flight. But yeah, it was just by chance your one gave my seat away, and she's like, "Oh, we're just going to upgrade you." I was like, "Grand, like where are you upgrading me? 10th or 11th, like that row?" No, into business class, 4D. I was like, "Oh wow," and I was like,
"Get the duvet out."
I
quick.
was like, I was so like, maybe I didn't do the right thing, but I was just sitting there drinking ginger ale for the whole fucking flight. Like
you drank ginger ale
like a fucking
so
idiot.
You're like living 2 lives, really. You're kind of half in, half out. With like I'm trying.
Yeah.
So if you're from the perspective of, imagine all the young lads that are out there now and they're wanting to go. We just want to go. Like, what are the positives and the negatives of just going?
I don't think. Well, the negatives is getting a visa. Like that's the hard part, is being able to get the visa. You know,
well, imagine we have the visa.
We have it's all positive. Go, like, if I was to look back when I first moved, it's, you know, you can do anything over in America. It doesn't matter where you are. You can, like, as I said, I didn't know anything about, you know, construction or anything.
As long as if you're willing
to work and work hard, yeah, like there's numerous opportunities, and especially for, you know, all along the spectrum of people, like whether you're farming background or, you know, worked in an office or whatever, like don't be afraid to give anything a go. Like I know guys bartending that are from the back arse of Leitrim, and all they know is driving Massey Fergusons and, you know, dosing cattle too.
But you say that though, right?
Yeah.
But yet you're thinking about coming home. And all the things that you've spoken about are very rooted here in Ireland, i.e. tractors and silage and...
Yeah.
So, like David said, you're half in, half out, and he asked you, what are the negatives? You said, no negatives, it's all positive, but yet you're not thinking about staying.
So is it the people that you're missing and the culture?
I think if, like, I'm 31, like, not by any means old, but if I want, I'd love to be able to raise a family here. I couldn't see myself raising a family in New York.
Why not?
You get me? I don't know. I just the homeliness of being home. And
have you a car here?
Yeah. Well, I have a van outside, but that's because rental cars are too expensive.
So you just bought one?
I just bought one.
You're so half in, half out.
Oh, I'm telling you.
You're so half in. Because here's what, a lot of people that follow me, especially on Snap. Is it Snapchat you follow me?
No, Instagram.
Right, so most people that follow me, especially on Snapchat, are all people working away, US, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere. And all of them say the same thing. They'd love to be home, right? Everyone misses home. You miss your family. You miss all the thing. But you can't proceed in life as quick and as fast in Ireland as you can there.
No.
Because
I agree
whatever
with
it is about the US and especially Australia, if you're willing to work hard, you're going to get up in the morning, you're just going to go. You're just going to go. You're going to make money.
Yeah.
And you could start your own business. And if your business is going well and you're working hard, you're going to make money.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Ireland, you have this thing where if your business starts going well, they tax you to death.
Yeah.
You can't get anyone to work. And Ireland has been really choked at this time. It's really, really difficult for people.
Look,
There's a lot of extra fight
yeah.
if you wanted to work
Like,
here.
even say if I move home in 2 years' time or 4 years' time, you're not making it easy. It's not made easy to be able to move home. You know, even if you have a ton of money, still fucking million hoops that you have to, jump through. Like, the government aren't making it easier for people to buy a house by any means. Like I remember reading on the news, we're going to be the first generation that won't be able to, go and buy a house or.
What makes you stay in New York and not move somewhere else?
It's the people that I've met over there. I've met I have some great friends there, and the money. It's like you can do anything over there and work hard and save.
Would you switch it up and go to San Diego?
No, I don't know.
Even though you really like it.
Yeah, well, I like a lot of things, but
Is San Francisco really a cesspool now?
San Francisco is. San Diego isn't.
San Diego's further south.
Yeah.
It's further south.
But
yeah.
San Francisco seemingly like something out of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Well, all that West Coast is like Seattle all the way down, because the weather doesn't change. It could be 20 degrees all year round. So, it's great for homeless.
There's literally people shitting on the streets.
Yeah. Well, New York is like that in places too. Like,
What's the maddest thing you've seen?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, give us some stories, Aaron. Come on. Give us some New York.
Do you know this dancing naked cowboy?
Yeah. I've met him once or twice.
He was wearing my glasses last week.
I saw
I've
that.
seen that on Instagram. All right.
Yeah.
You're fierce proud about it.
I was delighted.
You're proper famous.
I was delighted.
You have a lot of people in New York following you.
There'd be loads of people messaging me.
Yeah.
And I do often wonder now, I wish that when I was out there, I had have started my channel, because there'd be so many people. But most of them work in construction.
Yeah.
Most of them work in construction.
Yeah.
But the one of the funny thing was when Aaron connected the dots with you and I, he then started to tell me about how important you were to him in America.
Yeah, it's the bit of home, and like I have an interest in what you do, like, machines.
and
Oh,
stuff.
100%. Like, I won't lie with that. And just the truck side of things. Like, I do like when back in the day, some videos of you and your brother Barry or stuff like that, and just the trucks and what they had, and
And the excessive amount of skill that we had, what we're doing.
And the devastatingly good looks. And so modest as well.
And the face aids.
Yeah.
Face
I
aids.
heard
Did
about
you know
that.
what's a
Well, I
face
didn't
aids?
notice it, but now that you say it, is yeah.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Well,
What is it?
It's
Stress.
like fucking Satan ejaculated all over my face and burnt the shit out of it.
did that actually happen, or is that
No, I don't know what happened. So I woke up on Thursday morning and my face was literally burning off me. Like, it was really, really sore. And when I opened my mouth, I could feel it cracking.
Have you been putting makeup on?
You're not too far off, right?
Yeah.
So on last Tuesday night, Lily, I let her put a face mask on me, right? But that's the only other thing that I can think of.
That's it.
And I was
You probably
servicing
got
the machine.
allergic. You were allergic reaction.
I
to
got
the face
allergic
mask.
reaction to something, but it was really sore. But I'm not going to cry about it. I'm okay. I put some cream on. I went to the chemist. They said it's grand. So we'll move on from the face aids.
Yeah.
But he used to use you as his kind of a connection with home, which I think is really cool. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted Aaron to come and tell his story, because number one, I thought it was really interesting. Here's a guy that wanted to go out. Well, didn't really want to go out, but when you get out there, you realize it was a great thing.
Yeah.
Then he's thinking about coming home.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would think that it's the person, but the other side of it was,
Do you know what
how important you are. And you don't realize how
it's
important you are to people
Stop
like
it
him.
now. You're flirting.
No. But this is true, David. And you don't sometimes take credit for the connection that you give to someone like Aaron.
Yeah, but I think it's the people you used to bring on and still bring on. Like Morris's story, incredible. Like, what I liked about it is it's very open. I feel like a lot of people just, like the thing that's going on in RTE, God forbid if you said it to some people, they'd be like, oh no, God, poor Ryan or whatever. I feel with the people you bring on or people you talk to, they have great stories, but they're not afraid, to go left at the Y or.
Well, I think the thing is, once you get someone on,
Yeah.
they're willing to have a 2-hour conversation or an hour and a half conversation. And if you're going to have an hour and a half conversation with someone, you're going to be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to be.
Yeah, it's just nice to see people like Morris and a couple of other people that aren't afraid. And I would be in the same category.
Well, I said it to him first, and he was like, "No, I will go on."
Yeah, I know, but I think it's once you kind of, it's not afraid. You shouldn't be afraid to, talk about whatever. Like it's
Flipping back to New York, what's the scariest thing now that you start to see in that society? Now that you've been in it a long time now. So what are the downsides, the scary side to New York?
the scary sides.
Like the dark sides, because it's all it was all good up to now. The only thing we heard about was a bar brawl, but like you must see.
So you're a young lad and you're heading out to work. You're leaving your mommy and daddy for the first time. What do they need to watch out for? What is scary out there now?
There's a lot of attacks on the trains. The subways are so bad. Like
Indians.
Well, it's like minions, midgets. But no, like the amount of people that have been pushed onto in front of trains has gone through the roof. It's scary. Like say for me coming home, like I would use the subways a lot for work if I'm not driving, going from job to job, and you'd always walk along the side of the, just at the edge comfortably years ago. He wouldn't have really bat an eyelid of anyone around you, but now everyone's standing in the middle because they're so fucking afraid of someone
just psychotic people. Well,
you see, the problem is now in New York is because we're a sanctuary city, so we get all the immigrants, we get everything. Like there's one hotel which isn't too far away from my old bar, and it's not far from Grand Central, where you have millions of tourists coming out of every year. They have all migrants now tented around the hotel and in the hotel. And like, it is scary. Like you don't know what's going to happen or who you're going to meet in the street. Like Times Square before COVID, you'd walk through it at 4 or 5 in the morning, no problem. Now, you'd be fucking afraid to walk through it because you just don't know who you're going to meet. Like there's so much homeless. There's so much, like, they're not giving true figures of the crime in New York. Like it's nearly at 1980s again. Like, it really is.
Jeez.
Why would they push in front of the train? I don't get that.
That's what's happening. It's just random pushing people.
There's
like
some people
getting
out there
attacked.
just want to watch the world burn.
That is one thing that's really scary. And like even like the bars now, you don't know who's coming in. You don't know who you're serving. Like that's why, a lot of bars now are putting people on the door, and because it's very hard to just work in a bar. And
did you ever see any crime firsthand?
Oh yeah, numerous times.
What kind of crime?
I remember, like, Jesus, where I used to park when I had a Jeep at the time a couple of years ago on our street. These peeping Tom. There was this guy, an Indian guy.
Peeping on you?
No, peeping on, like, he'd get into apartments, open windows, like, trying to get at women, like, attack women.
That's called a rapist.
Yeah, so...
Fuck me.
Yeah, but it was in a certain area of Queens, and, like, 3 or 4 in the morning, I remember coming in from work, parked up, and I remember just seeing a guy just come out of a window of, like, a basement, like of an apartment or a house, and then run up the street. And then I went upstairs and just looking out the window, putting on the AC unit, and he's fucking just staring up at, like, up at the window. But this guy, like, was on the move for like 2 months, jumping into windows, attacking women. Like, it's pretty fucking scary, like,
Would you ever want to move home and open a bar?
No, I don't think I'd come home. I'd like to be a part of a bar. I'd like to be like a silent partner or something. Just,
Just behind the money.
I'd just like to... No, I'd love to be...
So what you're saying, there's a deal to be done.
I'd love to, like, be involved in something. Yeah, like a country bar or something, and just...
I think you're never... You don't realise how much you love New York. I think the idea of home is more of a dream than the reality of it.
Yeah, and, like, I don't want to rule anything out either, like, I do love it, and I literally wouldn't have what I have today if it wasn't for New York. Like, it's been so good to me.
So you would 100% tell a young lad, go?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
whether it's New York or not.
Whether it's New York or whether it's San Diego or whether it's, wherever. But if you want to make money, New York is where it is.
Are you ready for the questions?
Yeah. I always wondered how I'd answer these if they were ever asked.
Now it's time, kid.
Now it's time. And by the way, he's a very fancy baby bullnose out there.
Yeah, very proud. I have my Just Busy sticker just inside the back.
Just
Busy.
Josh.
Loves a van, don't you, Aaron?
Yeah, I love it. It's very practical.
Did you ever see a transporter?
Yeah, I did.
They're my favourite fan.
Oh, well, I wouldn't be a huge fan of a transporter now.
What?
Yeah. My dad had one when we were younger and I was like, oh.
Well, I'm fucking fed up with you now. That's it. I'm actually writing it down on my enemy list. Hey, Aaron!
I really love you, Aaron.
Right. First one. This one's especially for you.
Yeah.
Are the Teenage Mutant Turtles real?
No.
No.
They're heroes in half shell.
Do you see loads of movies being made?
Yeah.
On the street and stuff?
Yeah, Law and Order's been made on our block, like literally out the back of our apartment. Like,
So how does that work? Did they just, because every movie's in New York?
yeah, so basically the crowd, Haddads is the name of the filming company, blue and white lorries. You'll see them all over the city. So basically a couple of weeks before they shoot something, they'll have the stickers up on the street, like no parking. And then they'll be say, shooting from say Tuesday to Thursday or whatever. But yeah, it's a pretty big deal. It's like pretty set up. Like you'll see all the cars parked up with the NYPD on them, but there'll be like a blue cross through them. Like they'll have the stunt cars or, cars for the show. But yeah, like I've seen Law and Order, Sex and the City been filmed. What else?
Are firemen Supermen out there?
Firemen are tough. They're tough.
Do the women love them? Like everyone
Yeah,
loves
of
them.
course they do.
The police?
Yeah, like
Are the police gone? Do people not like them as much now?
that's the problem. It's sad to see too. Like respect for police has got, like, I suppose even here, like, has gone really, really bad. Like,
I love that senator that has that campaign ad on TV, and he's a real old guy, and he goes, "Next time you need a cop, call a crackhead."
okay. He's definitely.
You don't like
irritable.
cops? Next time you have a problem, call a crackhead. Right. What's your first vivid childhood memory?
Oh, I suppose Christmas. Getting my first go-kart and trailer, thinking I was going to be like have my own haulage company at age 7 or 8 years of age.
Cool.
I had the best rig out when it came to go-karts in my area, like compared to my friends. Like I had the best Burr go-kart. I had like big
All the accessories.
the 2-axle trailer
Had
with
the
it.
flag.
Yeah, nearly bankrupt my parents for Christmas, but I had flags, everything.
Well, if you nearly bankrupt your parents for Burr carting with their house pet for 20 years, he's fucking gambling or something.
It was good. Yeah.
If you could make one phone call to heaven, who would you call?
Oh, I'd call my 2 granddads. They died very young. I never really got, I was only 7 or 8 when they died, so I'd definitely call them.
Is home for you, this is a good one for you now, is home for you a place or a feeling?
Wow. A place or
Do you feel at home now, or do you feel at home when you get on the plane? Here's how I'd answer that. Where do you have your nicest shites? Where do you are most relaxed taking a dump right now?
Oh, New York, probably.
There, that's your home. If your life was a movie, which scene would you replay over and over?
Jesus, I don't know. That's a tough one.
I don't understand that question.
Scene of a movie.
Well, for you, if your life was a movie, what's your favourite scene? What would your favourite scene of that movie be? What would you like to look at? What part of your life would you like to look at over and over? Your favourite part?
I guess it's going to be like my boys being born and those kind of things.
They're easy answers for me and you.
Yeah, that's a tough one for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think coming up to Christmas when I was bartending, this is great. great feeling, great buzz. People like bars packed, people on over on holidays, you know, making twine.
tips.
Yeah, but no, yeah. Christmas working in a bar is a great feeling. It's a great time.
Is that a big tip week?
That's
Oh,
what
from-
my next question.
Sorry.
Fuck you. What's your largest tip?
Oh,
Oh wow. Oh, New Year's Eve 2018. I was working in Mulligan's, and there's a high-end Japanese restaurant up the street, Zuma.
Oh,
And one of the managers was leaving. He was going up to Boston to open a hotel for his parents. Parents were big hotel owners. But I remember I was working with a guy, Connor, at the time, and we were both at different ends of the bar working. It was busy, but he'd come up and order just $100. Then he'd go up to Connor and order drinks, $100. And he did this for a couple of hours. There was a lot of $100 bills.
really?
Yeah.
So you made loads of money.
We made loads of money that night.
what was the take?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember what the take was.
You do remember.
What's the largest take you ever remember?
From myself
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a week. Oh, just shy of 3, I'd say.
Should have been a barman.
No, that's not all the time, but
No, but I mean, it's important
Yeah.
to note that that's a big thing in the US where tips rule.
tips are huge.
This is a tough one, but answer it quick. Would you like yourself if you met yourself?
I think so, yes.
That's good. What's something that you're holding on to that you should let go?
Oh. I think worrying about moving home. I think it's one thing I just need to go at what I'm doing now in New York, and I'm
shit in the pot.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. No, do you know what? I'm with a lovely girl. She's been very good to me, and I think I'd always say it because I remember a couple of years ago when I moved back, I was like, "Oh no, 2 years time now, I'm moving home." And even the last while, friends of mine have said it to me, and they're like, "Do you know what? I think you need to just go with the flow and don't be putting a fucking string around your neck saying you have to be home by."
Stay open.
I think that's one thing.
Stay open to the universe, and eventually, like the saying is, if it's meant for you, it won't pass you.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I need to let go is worrying about when I'm coming home. I think things will just and I've been very lucky. Things have always just fallen into place work wise, everything. So yeah, that'll be one thing I need to is just stay in the moment and enjoy what I'm doing. And
I think that's for everybody, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah. Shane Flynn has done a lot of that now with me. Like, we all have to live more in the moment.
yeah,
It helps so much because we're all thinking about the next thing because there's never enough.
yeah,
We're just bred to just want more, and we don't know what we want. When we have it, we don't want it. We want the
Yeah.
next thing.
I think there's an element of worry, though. Like you and I would talk about this, that we would worry about things.
Yeah.
I think it's
And I think the worry takes over, and you end up not being able to live in the moment because you're so worried about next week or the kids getting older. Or
Having kids puts
but even for him, he was. I remember talking to you at one point, and you were just so confused and concerned about
sexuality.
yeah. No, but it could, and sometimes you had to just be patient because it is going to happen.
Yeah, I think I am a terrible worrier as a person, but I do worry about, oh, geez, if I'm not home by 34, 35 now, I won't have... that's one thing, just... just relax a bit.
Hey, don't feel bad. I have that conversation with myself every goddamn day.
Yeah.
Who brings you the most happiness in your life?
Family and girlfriend.
Oh, you
Didn't make the top two.
Jeez, you
Didn't make
cut
top
to the
two.
bone there. You cut poor Derek to the bone there. He'd be ringing me tomorrow and be like,
Yeah.
Crying to me chips.
fucking let me go, me.
Yeah.
Do you think things happen for a reason, or we find reasons after things happen?
No, I think things happen for a reason.
Do you believe in God?
I wouldn't say I believe in God, but I'd be religious, but when things are...
He drinks the water of dead people.
Yeah.
Tell him the story.
No.
To tell him.
Tell me, you can't just leave me.
No,
like that.
I think my dad had a bad accident a couple of weeks ago, and I think you start praying to someone up there when, or even I feel like talk to the granddads up there and be like, come on, help us out of here. Or
That's what happens to everyone. Everyone, if you ask them, don't believe in this, you don't believe in that, and then the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And as humans, we all go, please.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
somebody somewhere.
Somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you trust anyone with your life?
My girlfriend.
That's beautiful.
I think I'm going to cry.
This is a very profound one.
Yeah.
Don't panic. Right? When was the last time you shit yourself?
Jesus. God, I can't think. Like, broaden the question. Like,
You're not fooling me. Everyone remembers. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Dave does it all the time.
like a real, like, shit.
Like you shit yourself. You know, there's no mistake in that moment.
No, I don't think I've ever shit myself.
Fucking lies. You shit in the Empire State Building 3 weeks ago.
Hasn't lived.
What do you want to be known for after you die?
I think that it was kind of nice to everyone and, you know, not an asshole, like, you know, just straight to the point and told it as it is, you know.
What's the most guilty you ever felt? Did you ever feel really guilty over something?
Jesus.
Even when you were a young lad?
Guilty. That's a tough one. Any examples?
Yeah, I robbed Dave of stuff out of a shop one day when I was a young lad.
Jesus.
And I thought the fucking police were going to bang down the door. There's going to be a SWAT team coming in. I think it was only 2 He-Man bars and a time bar or something.
I wallpapered a truck when I was young in a builder's yard. There was loads of wallpaper after we wallpapered the whole truck. And the security guard came in and caught us. And I jumped over the back wall and had a rucksack with me. And I couldn't get the rucksack over the fence and I had to leave it go. And then sure, the food was because my name was on the rucksack.
Where'd you go on the wallpaper?
Huh?
Where'd you go on the wallpaper?
It was in the builder's yard. They were obviously wallpapered the houses back when I was young.
Christ.
We wallpapered the whole truck. The whole truck, like 360. It was like a massive big, like a present, like a Christmas present.
Have you noticed that, like, one thing about America that I love, like that, like, and at this time now it's full of batshit crazy motherfuckers, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very, very polarized, right? But I think that's the media portraying that more so than the actual people.
Yeah, do you know what? When COVID hit, I deleted every news app on my phone. And even today now, I wouldn't really listen to the news or I wouldn't really read the paper. I think that's the problem. A lot of people read into it and it's like, oh, it's gospel. It's like, I think just make up your own fucking mind and have a bit of common sense and, you know, maybe open your mind to...
Do you not love reading the paper?
Farmer's Journal is probably the only piece of paper I'd read when I come home.
The Farmer's Journal?
Yeah, I think there's more fucking...
The Diary of the Illuminati.
Yeah, I think...
That's him.
Or...
I had pictures of you, though, sitting in the bar mid-afternoon on a day off reading the paper.
Posing for
Having a
Instagram.
pint. Yeah.
No, well, I don't actually post a whole lot.
Jesus, posing for
I wouldn't
Instagram.
be a big poster on Instagram
He's
now.
not.
No.
He's a lurker.
Yeah, I don't... If I see like a nice moment or something, like... or nice picture if I'm away, I'll take that and I'll post it. But I wouldn't really be one posting my whole life. Definitely not.
Him and the lad that looks in through the windows.
Licking the windows. What's gonna...
Well, Aaron, it was brilliant talking to you.
No, pleasure. Thank you
And
very much.
I hope loads of young lads listen to this and know that it's all frame of mind, isn't it?
It's always.
Yeah,
You know, because from the outside looking in, you're living a dream.
yeah. Oh, it is. There's nothing you can't do when you go over. It really isn't, you know.
We just don't want to go home.
At some
You
stage.
think you want to go home.
I think I want to go home at some stage.
He
Yeah.
still has a car here.
Well, sometimes it's you know, New York has all the, you know, the glitz and glam, but sometimes.
Yeah.
What does your girlfriend want to do?
I think she'd like to come home eventually, but you know, I think that's...
Where's she from?
She's from Westmeath.
Sorry to hear that.
I know.
Whereabouts in Westmeath?
Moat.
Oh, I know it well.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we're both kind of on the same mind frame of like, but I think I need to just
Is it purely monetary then? Is this like a money thing? Is this just because you're there?
Yeah, well, do you know what it is? But you can like, it's not like here where, you know, it's you're making your few bob and you're trying to save it for whatever purpose. But over there, you can make money, but you can still go and enjoy a weekend away or do stuff and not be fucking worrying about, you know, geez, I fucking have to spend all that now in the bar.
But you couldn't buy a house over there.
Oh, you could. There's no reason why you can't. 2018, I nearly bought an apartment in Queens.
How much?
I could have bought a 1-bedroom for probably just over $300,000. Yeah.
1 bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah, but I you know, a lot of
See the perception of that now.
but I could still, like, if I...
How much would a 2-bedroom cost?
Oh, you're probably talking another 100 or 200,000 on top of that.
That just
But you'll all...
$500,000.
Yeah, I know, but you'll always rent that. You'll always, like, whatever happens, you'll always rent it and you'll never lose money on it.
Tell that to the lads in 1920 when there was the big economy fell down.
Yeah, like, I know a few friends of mine that have bought in the last couple of years, and I just feel like it's not a big stress ball like it is here. You know, like, geez, buying something here, I feel like people are...
What's the rent like?
Well, the rent is, like, we're paying for a 1-bedroom, we're paying about 1,800 for, but now that's gone up, like, in the last couple of years. But, like, when I first moved...
Why are you getting for 1,800? So when I say that, is that paying for electricity?
Yeah, that'd be your electricity and your gas and, you know, your month's rent or whatever. But it adds up on your wages. Like, you know, it's whatever, when we split it down the middle, it's whatever, 800, 900 each. That's good. And, like, we're living 20 minutes from Manhattan on the train. And it's a lovely neighborhood. Where I feel like people are paying 900 here and they're getting the corner of the room.
So if you were to move, say you were going to commute, and like people do in Ireland, and you were going to drive into New York for an hour and a half every morning.
Which people do, yeah.
That'd be what we all do here, say.
Yeah.
What would you spend? How cheap or do the houses get an hour and a half away? Like, for that 300,000, could you get a fine house in the suburbs?
I'd say 400,000 if you went an hour and a half upstate New York. Oh, you could probably get an acre of land and a house.
See, here's where it's the only way I hear people going, oh, Dublin, fucking price of houses. And I know they say, oh, I want to live in Dublin. But you know, you can't afford it. Stop whinging about it. Move out.
Yeah.
You know, would you not love that? Or do you just love the whole buzz of the city that much?
I think, yeah, like, I don't think, where I'd love to live in the countryside here, where I don't think over there, like, you're too far away from what's going on. Like, when you're living 20 minutes, it's the buzz of, you know, the area, and you're only, like, when you get up and walk up to the train and you look into the skyline, I think that's...
The buzz of it?
Yeah, it's the buzz of it. I think if I was to live in New York, I think when family comes around, it's different. People move up. They go up to a bit of air, a bit of room. But it, like, at the moment, I think just... living just in the suburbs there, like Brooklyn or Queens or...
So do you live in a big building?
I would live on the ground floor of I think it's a 3 or 4 story walk up. So it's an old building. It's like 1920s, 1930s. So...
Is it haunted?
I don't think so.
Do you get 1 bedroom so you couldn't have anyone stay with you?
Actually, no, we're looking for a 2-bedroom now for people to come and stay, because...
Have you a pull-out bed?
I have, yeah. We've pull-out couch, yeah.
You'd need one, sure.
It's perfect for people like my mum.
What's your number again?
It is when you and me go.
Yeah. Well, we're looking now. October, we're going to try and get a 2-bedroom.
Imagine if I was to knock on the door, 4 kids.
You want to get some pull-out bed for that?
Fuck's sake. Serious. Aaron, it was lovely talking to you.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for coming, and best of luck with whatever you decide to do.
Yeah, I know.
And Derek, thanks for coming down.
Not at all. Lovely to hear Aaron's story, and I knew it was worth hearing.
I appreciate it.
And if there's any multi-millionaire in Ireland that wants a shit-hot bartender that can keep things safe, because he also is qualified in safety,
and if you have tractors and
you have a tractor, maybe a cider air or something, he is the man for the job. And he's a brand new baby bull nose, black alloys, 6-speed, the whole fucking works.
And he only needs 900 cash a week on top of his wages, and then we're sold.
And he's going to live in Dublin.
Yeah.
and he wants to live in the middle of the city on a ground floor apartment.
With 2
and
bedrooms.
he wants a 5.6 million one-bedroom apartment, or he's not going to be happy. Right, I'll chat you. Thanks
Thank
a
you
million.
very much.
Good luck,
See ya.
Dave.
Thank you.